So this is it, guys. This is the entire iPhone 15 lineup, and I can give you some early impressions on what the entire iPhone 15 lineup is going to look and feel like come September 2023, because it's that time of the year again when we get early hands-on with the dummy units that are very accurate and show us a glimpse of what case manufacturers are using and expecting when it comes to the new iPhones. Now, at first glance, you're probably thinking, Dan, that doesn't look very different, and you'd be largely correct when it comes to the 14 to the 15, and really with the Pro models as well. But there are a few things that are worth pointing out and mentioning, some things you can't see but I can feel, that also corroborate a lot of the rumors that we have been talking about for so long. Now, for starters, if you flip to the bottom here, you can see USB-C is in fact the port of choice. Now, we've had basically confirmation from Apple themselves that this is going to happen, and that's been the rumor for a while. But it's nice to just be able to stick an USB-C cord into the bottom and actually see that it's a perfect fit, and that just you get that sense of relief that we're finally going to basically be able to carry one cable for almost all modern day electronics. And so that just makes me super happy. And the iPhone 15 is expected to get USB-C across the board. So the standard iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus, and then the Pro and the Pro Max. But there is a difference between the Pros and the non-Pros, as there has been some rumors about the Pros getting Thunderbolt, which would give us some incredibly fast data transfer speeds and other possibilities that are just not the case with USB-C 3.2, which is what is expected on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, which would be this big guy right here and this one right here. There's also a new design for the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro. And again, I get what you're thinking, that looks completely identical as well, and it kind of does, but when you actually hold it in your hand, you'll see where the major design change happens, and that's in the frame. Those sharp corners, those sharp edges are a lot more rounded off now. They're no longer squared. It's kind of like a square circle combination. Definitely in the middle between an iPhone 11 and an iPhone 12, when that was the redesign that changed. You're kind of getting that, less sharp, more comfortable feeling in the hand. And it's much more noticeable. It's really hard to tell when you look at it, but it's much more noticeable when you actually pick it up and hold it. But other than that, I'm not really noticing any other major design changes. If I showed an average person on the street, 15 Pro Max, actually that's not the 15 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max, I think they would be like, that's the same phone. And that's fair, but one of the other major differences is that stainless steel is pretty shiny and reflective, and that's kind of what's happening here on the dummy models for the Pro Max, but that's not what we're expecting. We're expecting a full switch to titanium. I'm just expecting a more dull brushed aluminum look, but obviously the strength and durability of titanium, and it also should be more lightweight. Now, these units are plastic, so they're fairly lightweight already, so I can't really get a good sense of the weight, disbursement between the phones, but I'm expecting it to be a lot lighter than this thing, which is the 14 Pro Max, and it is very, very heavy. Now, the side of the iPhone 15 also carries some changes in that we are finally getting some redesigned buttons and, well, an entirely new button altogether. So I was in the middle of editing this video and realized that the dummy units are a little bit out of date, and that the volume rocker unified buttons probably not going to happen this year. So I talk about that like right now up until the new, we're just gonna skip that. We're gonna jump right to the new mute button. So yeah, let me just cut over to that right now. And then if you look at the mute switch, now changes to a mute button. And apparently that's actually going to happen. And it should, in theory, be more like the action button on the Apple Watch Ultra, where you can kind of customize the actions of the mute switch rather than just limiting it to muting your phone. So maybe a single tap will mute it, double tap will be an action of your choice, and same with a triple tap. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can actually do. Me personally, I want to map this to opening up the camera. I think that makes way more sense. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what Apple will tell us about the new mute button. Now, as far as the cameras go, if you look at the camera bumps and everything, they don't look any different. Here's a real iPhone compared to like the Pro Max, and I'm not seeing any visual changes, but there is going to be one major new exclusive to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and that's the new Periscope Lens that will feature an optical zoom of at least 6x, which is already double the amount that you get with iPhones currently. So we're gonna go from 3x to 6x, which is still probably not at the top of some of the other smartphones that are out there, but Apple has always been kind of behind in the optical zoom game, and so this should help bring its cameras up to speed and a little bit more than what it was in the past. surpassed, at least in the optical zoom department. And so excited for any camera improvements, but definitely getting more zoom with actual optical hardware zoom is, you know, an A+ in my books. There are also some Pro features and design changes that are trickling down to the standard models, like the frosted back glass. That's going to be across the board, which is nice to see. I think it's a much better feeling compared to the like glossy black that you had before. And the dynamic island was rumored to be featured on all of the phones, and these dummy units show just that. Kind of hard to pick up on camera, but they are there. Just like we saw it last year. Well, we didn't see a dynamic island last year, but we saw it introduced in the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max. Now we'll have it on the 15, the 15 Plus, the 15 Pro, and the 15 Pro Max. And so yeah, these are it. This is the entire lineup for the iPhone 15. They don't show much new information, but they definitely help support claims and reports that we have been talking about for some time now. All of the rumors that have been circulating about the upcoming iPhone 15 seems to be corroborated and confirmed with these dummy units. And so I can't wait to see what's next for the iPhone 15 that's set to come out later this year. But of course, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you thinking about upgrading? What phone do you have? And are you thinking about jumping up to the 15? Do you consider this a major change? Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.